I probably wouldn't have given Malcolm and Marie the time of day were it not for the fact that I read an article about it that suggested it could be a possible Oscar contender for Best Picture, and I thought, well, I need to see this. It's on Netflix. It wasn't that great. There are things about it that are worth praising, but I think the only people who will benefit from this film are creative types and the people who made it. So it was released this year, 2021. It was apparently made during COVID restrictions and was, written and shot very quickly and everything put together really quickly. And it doesn't feel like that. I will be honest, it doesn't feel like a rushed job. It doesn't feel like, apart from the fact there are only 2 cast members, it doesn't feel like they were under any restrictions. So it doesn't feel restrained in any sense, which is obviously a fantastic achievement. It was written and directed by Sam Levinson and stars John David Washington and Zendaya. And the acting, we'll go through the benefits. The acting was very good. Why they decided to shoot it in monochrome, I have absolutely no idea. It doesn't make me feel anything towards it that would be different. But it's not a bad decision. We have some nice camera angles. Obviously it's all set in the same place, but it doesn't get boring. They utilise the rooms and the angles and keep everything engaged for as long as possible. The acting is good. The narrative is just so repetitive, and this film could have ended about half an hour into it. It got about 20 minutes in, and I thought, all right, this is wrapping up. Half an hour in, let's end it here. And I checked the time, and I was like, we've still got an hour and 10 minutes left. What are you doing? It just really milks it for more than it's worth. So the description from IMDb is as follows. A director and his girlfriend's relationship is tested after they return home from his movie premiere and await critics' responses. So Malcolm is a director. He has just had the premiere of his film. The film begins with him discussing, what he expects journalists are going to say and what they're going to write about. And the dialogue here is brilliant because he has quite a bit of comedy injected into what he's saying. There's a very funny bit about the Lego movie. And he says some very important stuff about how basically every white journalist, and we are stereotyping here, of course, but every white journalist, when there's a film with a black protagonist, by a black director, they just assume that the film has something to do with race. When, as Malcolm points out, in this case, it's not the case. Similarly with this film, you could say that because it's got a black cast, it could be about race, but of course it isn't. It's about a couple who have normal relationship problems, and because Marie feels like Malcolm doesn't appreciate her, she goes off on one. And then they make up, and that's half an hour into the film. And then she just keeps nipping and nipping and nipping and nipping and will not let anything settle for about an hour. And she's not a likeable character. I don't like her in the slightest. I think Malcolm should get rid of her because she's not nice. She is needy, and not in a way that she deserves, because I don't for a second feel like Malcolm did neglect her. I feel like she's just needy and controlling and has to be the centre of attention. I did not like her. I don't know if that's what the film was trying to put across. I doubt it was. But the fact that the film could have wrapped up after half an hour and then it dragged out, and the fact that she was not a likeable character at all, made this really tough to watch. So from a cinematography perspective, it was quite nice. Visually, the monochrome was not necessary, but it was different. It was interesting. Some really good camera angles to keep us engaged in this small setting. Having only 2 actors in this, 2 characters, could have made it quite dull. But for the first half an hour, it was very good. And usually if a film has just 2 characters in it for half an hour, you will get bored. So it actually sustains itself very well. The only problem with this is that it's an hour and 10 minutes too long, and one of the 2 characters is just ridiculously annoying. So I hope it doesn't win the Oscar Best Picture, because it most certainly does not deserve it. But I think Sam Levinson's done a good job with, what's available during these strained times, and I think if you're a creative type, you might get something out of it. Me as a writer, I can completely understand a lot of where Malcolm was coming from, but after half an hour, don't expect too much.